I think we said in the last episode, we're not just going to be bashing Labor on this podcast, but we will be calling out when they do absolutely ridiculous shit. But it's also, it's worth calling out because from the Greens' perspective, this is the reason that we say that we need to win balance of power in this federal election. Because if we're not in there to push Labor to stop being such fucking wet lettuces on this shit, then they're not going to do anything. We see when we're in minority government with Labor, like we were, in 2010 federally, like we have been in the ACT for a long time, we get good shit done. We build, significant public transport infrastructure in the ACT. We put in place the, world leading climate legislation as it was at the time before Abbott tore it down after the change of government. We got dental into Medicare for kids. We can actually do really good things when we work with Labor. And I don't think that there's a contradiction there in criticizing them for the direction that they're heading now and saying at the same time, there is a way though that, if they were willing to actually work with us, if we're in balance of power next election, that we could do some really cool things together.
It's so odd too, in that I'm trying to get into in much a good faith way as I can, seeing stuff from a Labor supporter's point of view. You saw this celebration of Albo this week when he called Peter Dutton a buffhead, right? He said, sit down buffhead during Parliament. Went a little viral. They're trying to, key this up as a wonderful moment.
Sit down.
I'm still hearing
You sit down, buffhead.
But it's like, what that represents is some level of fighting spirit, right? The Albo that talks about fighting Tories or what have you. And if that is what excites you, that's what you care about, that is expressed in this, very brief moment of language, why don't you want to marry that to the policies and big, bold, populist policies? Fight for what you believe in. Yes, fight for what you believe in, right?
I think that it must honestly be really rough to be a Labor supporter in this moment where you are probably, if you're very involved, you're giving a lot of time and energy to a party that is letting you down over and over again. And I don't see how that's sustainable for an institution. I don't know.
Trust the strategy.
Serious danger of Australia.